Welcome to Business Live. I'm Mark Croskery. In BL tonight, we're going to talk interesting development here with distribution company. That's Lasco Distributors of the big three or the top three right there of the Lasco group of companies. So appointing a managing director here, that's the MD, the top role at Lasco Distributors. It's Mr. John De Silva. He's been appointed in this capacity or role effective March 1st, 2021 at the top of March. Next up in Business Live tonight, BL, we're talking about Panjam Investment. Declaring a dividend here, Jamaican 10.5 cents per share. It's not a big one. Their earnings have been down. They've had some delay in audits because of, let's say, associated companies or whatever is happening there. But that's been a trend for the past year, 2 years or so. Sagicor has been a bit late as well too. Now, bottom line here though, it's a dividend, 10.5 cents as we said. It's payable end of March 31st. The release says it's a first interim dividend from Panjam. Now, talking about dividends, that also means earnings. You got to get those earnings out on the JSE to get those dividends, get those board of director meetings to declare some cash back to shareholders. So TTech Limited here now, the technology company, coming out with a fair 2020, revenues jumping up fairly or a little bit. And the company goes on to say in its management discussion analysis that really it's been not too harmed, let's say, by COVID or the pandemic. So revenue is jumping up a tad bit here to $359 million Jamaican from $340 million, so up 19 million Jamaican or so. So that's an achievement given that this is a sector that there's not too many benchmarks on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Now, in a different case, SOS, that's stationery and office supplies, really hard hit. We're not talking about down 10%, 20%. We're talking about down a whopping, earnings falling 76%. I mean, that's close to 100%, but let's keep it at 76%. So a huge turn of events here by SOS really hit. Clearly, businesses aren't expanding, persons aren't buying office furniture, businesses, companies not buying office furniture with the pandemic. So earnings per share hitting 13 cents here for 2020. Profits, that's net profits, fall into Jamaican 33 million versus a huge number that they had in 2019, 134.5 million. Revenues taking a hit as well, but not as much, not as a big percentage, dropping below $1 billion Jamaican dollars for SOS, 972 million from about 1.21 billion Jamaican dollars. Last up here now, Berger Paints Jamaica. Talk about a trend since the takeover happened. The new shareholders, majority shareholder got in, just profits going lower and lower and lower. If you're a minority shareholder in this one, you're not going to be too happy or a happy camper in terms of profits. These profits used to be huge 3-5 years ago or so, but the profits keep going lower even pre-COVID. We're going to talk about the results now though for 2020 versus 2019. So earnings per share here for 2020 registering 5 cents versus 14 cents. So the profits down again. Profits now as little as Jamaican $11.6 million for 2020 on revenues. Big revenue number still, 2.37 billion, down approximately 155 million year over year. I'm Mark Croskery. This is Business Live.